Hello there and welcome to another episode of Cutting Through the Bullshit. I am your host, Dr. Stephanie Snyder, and I am a high performance mentor. Through my unique blend of strategy, mindset, and intuition, I help men and women to cut through the BS in order to create the life and business they desire. So today we're going to talk about how do you keep moving forward when it doesn't look like your plan is happening. And the reason I want to talk about this is because sometimes we get stuck on things happening in a very specific way that we actually close ourselves off to opportunities that abound us. And I'm talking about this because there is an opportunity that I did not see coming at me that has actually become really beautiful and incredible only because I was open to it. Now, my vision for life, right? This is important to start here. You've got to know what you want your vision to be in order to create it, right? And I talk about this all the time. If you don't have clarity around the life that you want to create, if you're not sure what it looks like, you're going to struggle to create it. It is just not going to happen easily because you don't actually know where you're headed, right? It's like, trying to get to the nearest pizza place, but you don't actually know where the pizza place is, right? So you have this vision, you're like, okay, well, maybe I'll figure it out, but you don't actually know what it looks like, right? And so the first step, again, is to create that vision. What do you want your life to look like? And I've talked about how I always wanted to be at home with my kids. I wanted to spend more time with my kids than with them being somewhere else, right? And additionally, part of my vision was to create generational wealth. I want my kids to be able to benefit from whatever it is my husband and I are bringing together. And for a long time, I thought that was just one, I thought it was only going to happen through one way. And in the last about 6 months, it's been very clear to me that is going to happen in multiple ways. But it wouldn't have been available if I was so dead set on it happening this way. Now, what does that mean? That means that sometimes we have to surrender and realize that we actually don't have the best plan. And you could get really frustrated by saying that things have to happen this way. So it's like saying you want to make more money. You want to grow your business, but you're only marketing through Facebook, right? You won't take into account any other marketing type of things, right? And that shuts you off to a whole nother audience because there's Instagram, there's TikTok, there's LinkedIn, there's YouTube, there's podcasts, right? Being dead set on that one route closes you off to all these other things, right? So it's like, again, I like to use the road map, the traveling, because everybody drives somewhere, right? It's okay if you have to take a detour to get to where you're going. And you may have to reroute, right? You may look at your GPS next time and be like, oh, actually, vision rerouting, right? Rerouting the route to the vision. Because the vision will come to fruition. It may not necessarily come the way that you think it's going to come. Right? And that's kind of the beauty of it, because if we get so stuck on it only happening this one particular way, right? Again, imagine you're headed on a road trip and you decide that you're going to take the interstate and only the interstate. Okay. And then there's this massive accident that shuts down the interstate. You're going to get really frustrated sitting there waiting for the accident to clear. Meanwhile, your map might be like, we can save you 30 minutes by going this way. We can save you 19 minutes by going this way. But you're like, no, we're staying on the highway. We're not getting off the highway. You may get really frustrated sitting on that highway for an extended period of time. But the beauty is, if you take one of these little detours, you may see something that you didn't expect to see. Right? Like maybe through this detour, you come across, deer crossing the street, or like this really cool monument, or like this cute little cafe, or like whatever it is, right? Sometimes going off of that beaten path and allowing yourself to be detoured actually allows you to enjoy the journey to your vision a bit more instead of getting frustrated along the way because there's an accident on the way, right? I hope you can relate to that because it absolutely feels real relatable in terms of going to your vision, right? Because I do talk about this a lot, right? Like, it's not the destination that is the most important thing. Because if you feel like that destination is the most important thing, when you get there, you're going to be disappointed. It's not going to feel the way that you've worked it up to feel. But if you enjoy these little stops along the way, whether it's a detour, whether it's a whole rerouting, whether you totally decide that you don't want to get off the interstate and go the scenic route, right? Like, that's the joy of all of it. And so if you find yourself getting frustrated about it not working this particular way, allow yourself to be detoured for a little bit. Open yourself up to another opportunity, because that may actually be the thing that you were meant to do anyways. That was actually meant to be the vehicle to get you to your vision originally, but we had to get out of our own way for it. And I will be the first to admit that I can get real stubborn and headstrong and be like, no, 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 this way is the only way that we can go. But typically I can end up being frustrated, getting short with people, just getting really annoyed at the fact that it's not happening my way. And so what I like to do is go, okay, hey, like, here's the vision. Here's what I actually want to create. Here's what I think I should do to get to that vision. But I'm also open to other things and other suggestions. And I know myself well enough. My self-awareness is quite high that I know myself well enough to realize when an opportunity is actually the better thing. When it actually comes up, and then I'm not banging my head against the wall being like, why is this thing not working? When God's like, actually, this thing's supposed to be working. If you just allow me to help you, we'll get there together and we'll get there faster, right? So if you find yourself in a space where you're feeling frustrated, you're not reaching the thing that you want to reach, and again, I talk about this as well, look at different metrics to keep yourself going, but also give yourself the opportunity to be like, okay, you know what? I don't have this all figured out. I feel like I have it all figured out, but maybe there's an easier way, and be open to another perspective. Because it may be as simple as a conversation with a girlfriend, or, a conversation with a family member, or a total stranger where you get this light bulb moment and you're like, oh yeah, that's actually what the thing is that I'm supposed to, like, I love that, right? And all of a sudden, like, you're re-energized towards that initial vision. But again, you've got to know what that looks like in order to get there. Because when we sit there and we try to micromanage, okay, those of you who are in a relationship, let's say you're going on a road trip, okay, if one of you starts to tell the other one how to drive, does that ride become enjoyable? Or are you ready to kick that person out of the car? Right? But sometimes this is what our ego does, and our ego starts to micromanage our vision and is like, no, 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 we have to make sure that we have all of our T's crossed and our I's dotted and all the things in a row before we can actually start this trip. Right? Like, it's like a road trip with my kids. I swear, kid you not, right? Like, I have to pep talk myself going into a car trip with my kids. Not because my kids are awful. Okay, my kids are actually really great road trippers. It's because one of them is going to have to go to the bathroom or be hungry at a time that I actually don't want to stop. And I'm going to have to be like, okay, nope, actually, let's find the nearest place. Let's stop. It'll be fine. We'll be alive. No big deal, right? But sometimes we get so set on our vision happening in only one specific way that we don't allow for that. And so you can hold the vision without vice gripping the path. Because when you vice grip it, then you actually close yourself off to anything else. And the magic, right? God coming in and helping. The beauty of the journey. You lose out on that because you're vice gripping and you feel like you can't live life until you actually achieve that thing. Whereas life is lived along the way. So, I'm sending you so much love. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. And as always, be you, because the world needs more of you. Bye.